Now, one Silicon Valley company says it has a system to take the guesswork out of building an investment portfolio. Their secret? They let investors focus on specific themes like weapons or health food. Hardeep Walia is the CEO of Motif Investing, and I spoke with him here in Washington.
So we're all surrounded by great investing ideas, but we struggle with picking stocks, doing the homework. So what we do at Motif is we take great investing ideas, the rise of the mobile internet, cloud computing, even healthy foods, water shortage, and we take these ideas and we translate them into what we call a motif. And a motif, very simply, is an intelligently weighted basket of up to 30 stocks built around these ideas. And you can change them, tweak them, crowdsource them over Twitter and Facebook, and we allow you to buy up to $100,000 worth of a motif, and it'll only cost you $9.95 to buy 30 stocks in real time.
Give us an example of one motif, for example, and how an investor who's watching the show could invest into it.
So if you take something like this, the mobile internet, most people say this is going to be a huge phenomenon, the mobile internet, but when you ask them, what do I buy? Many of them will say, well, I'll buy Apple. I'll buy Nokia if I'm unlucky. And what they really want to do is buy the chip companies, the screen companies, the cell phone tower companies, everything that is the mobile internet, but they don't have the time to figure it out. And even if they do know how to figure it out, it's very, very, very expensive.
For a lot of folks who invest, they usually just go to their broker or they go online and they buy the traditional index funds. I guess that would be the most common way. You're talking about a different way of investing where you invest in a set of sort of ideas or concepts or trends, if you will. How successful have you been? How much have you raised? How much do you have under management?
So we've invested in our company. We've raised $51 million. Our investors are Foundation Capital, Norwest Ignition, and Goldman Sachs just led our last round. We don't release our statistics on how much we're managing, but just to give you an idea, we launched 2 months ago an ability for individuals to build their own motifs and pretty soon get compensated. And we had 7,500 motifs built within 2 months.
Obviously, you're following what's happening around the world. You've got different areas now in bear markets, the Dow having, just recently the worst 2-day trading period. And there's a lot of investors that are nervous about two things. One, the equity markets. Two, the fixed income markets that we're seeing yields pick up. If I come to your website and I say, this is the two things I'm worried about, what do you suggest?
So we have a motif called rising interest rates because there's a lot of concern about that. And for most, and these are equities, mind you, and these are companies that have large cash balances that do really well. And we've studied it do well historically in rising interest rate environments. That motif is up 40% for the year versus 22% for the S&P. So that's a very good model. And you can think of our model as go to our search bar and type in anything you're concerned about, and it will bring up thousands of opportunities for you to think about investing. Other thing, they're fixed maturity motifs that are more built up by bond ETFs. You get to play the duration of your portfolio, doing some very easy interaction with the product. We've got these sliders, so you can very quickly tailor an investment strategy to your outlook on the market.
For our international audience, obviously we have a lot of viewers out of China. They're looking at the Chinese market. Some of those markets are open to the global community, some are not. I'm speaking of the Shanghai A shares and the Hong Kong H shares. If you're interested in China, what are the most popular motifs when it comes to China?
So we have a couple of motifs. We have a motif called Asia Fusion, and these are companies that they're Asian-based companies that generate the majority of their revenues locally, right? A lot of companies now are expanding internationally, but if you really want to play Asia, you want companies focused on their domestic markets, and if they're local companies, they may have some advantages. So that's one way to play it. We have a motif called Chinese Internet. Right? People seem to forget that Chinese internet is a pretty huge phenomenon. I used to be at Microsoft a long time, and it is a fascinating market, so that's another interesting thing. And then we even have a motif called BRICS, which is the BRIC countries, including South Africa. And what's nice about this motif is you can express your own view. So if you want to go higher weighting on China, lower weighting on Russia, you can actually adjust the motif to your own perspective on how you think those countries are going to do.